Waar is nu dan het Premiere Pro scherm? Lieve
Je moet er nog opstarten.
Oh, was dat expres? Oké.
Dus Danny, we zijn live.
Oh,
we are live.
We are live. Yeah, we have to do this in English.
Yeah, we have to do it in English. Hello, guys. It's so nice that you're watching. Some of you are joining the session. We can see that. So hopefully we'll wait just a couple minutes before we begin. And then we're going to start with our live stream about Premiere Pro. And you already asked some questions. And if you already have questions, just drop it in the comments and we read it and we respond to it directly. Yeah.
Okay. Well, how much time shall we take?
I don't know. Can you see how many people are watching right now? 27.
Yeah, it's 27, so it's like one class full of people.
That's okay.
Oh well, okay. It's going up. It's going up. Okay, this is nice. Yeah, chat is working. And
I can see the chat, Maurice.
I can see the chat. Sanne Heesbeen, hoi hoi. Hoi hoi. Yeah, I know. This is, and you have to keep.
Hey, Danny Marloes.
You have to keep your distance, Melis. We have to.
Yeah, I know.
We have to measure. We have to measure.
It's 1.5 meters.
1.5 meters. So that's like, yeah, this is 1.5, and that's for you. Yeah, okay. So this is okay.
So we're trying it, but of course, yeah.
We made sure that we didn't have any snotty noses.
No, and we didn't see anybody in the last 2 weeks.
No, we were in complete
so lonely.
quarantine.
Yeah. What do you think, Danny? Should we start or should we wait for?
Yes, let's do this. Let's do this.
Okay.
Well,
so, welcome, guys. We miss you.
Yeah, we really do, and
yeah.
Well, I don't know how you are feeling about this. All about working during in Corona times. It's
just like a crazy time, and it's like we never been through this before, so we also have to adjust. And of course, it's also hard to have less human contacts because normally you would just go out to the park or have a drink with your friends.
I know. And
now you're just at home.
Yeah,
and
I'm constantly thinking about what is right and what is wrong to do because, well, last week we would have had a little, well, not a party, but I'm always gaming with a couple of friends, right?
Friends.
Yeah, and so we would have had, well, a group of 6 people. And we were asking each other, are you sick? Are you feeling okay? And are we going to do this or not? And because with 6 people in a room, it's almost impossible to keep that 1.5 meters of distance.
Yeah, true.
So we just said, okay, we're not going to do it. But I was sad that we didn't do it.
It's a sad time, but maybe in 2 months you can do everything you want again. And for now, just keep your distance. And stay at home, guys. Also for you, I know it's hard to don't see your friends and don't have a lot of contact, but it's just the best that you just stay at home. And maybe you have some things you still can do. For example, you can give your room a makeover, you can give your family a makeover, or you can just work really hard on your video.
Yeah, and because, well, we now know since yesterday that this is going to take...
until June.
Until at least June. So we also know that Block 2.4 will also be given online. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to use this studio to do a couple of Tools for Dummies live. So we can keep you updated and help you out. And the very first of this live streams is about Premiere Pro today. So we are going to give you tips for filming, tips for editing, some techniques we will show you. And it's very well possible to ask your questions in the chat, make use of it. And we also received a couple of questions through the mail, so we will discuss them as well. And let's hope that you will find this come in handy.
Yeah, so this is live, so if you made little mistakes, don't blame us, we're human beings as well.
Yes.
So this is the first time ever that Hans broadcasted something like real live via YouTube. So hopefully it will work out and we can do this until June as well.
Yeah.
So let's start. Yes, so because you guys have to film with your phone, or maybe you can lend a camera, we have some tips for you. So you know what the best things are to film with your phone and how to control your phone and to make the best footage. So the first tip is that you hold your phone correctly. This is my phone. So what you're going to do, you're not going to hold it like this, because then your phone can be like unstable. So it's better to have the camera close to your body. And also the second tip is don't walk with your phone. Like most of the phones have like a stabilizer on it, but still when you're walking, you can see it, right?
Yeah, more so if, well, literally more so than with a normal camera, just because of the way the lenses work.
Yeah,
So
and also make sure that you don't have your finger in front of the lens.
Yeah, you will see your finger.
And always film horizontally.
Yeah, horizontally.
So not like this.
We're making a movie for the big screen and not for use on Instagram, for instance.
Yeah, and the other one is to activate the grid on your phone.
Yeah, that's very, the grid comes in very handy, because the grid is a thing that can help you with making a nice composition. So we taught you about the rule of thirds, and the grid you can activate by going into the settings of your phone and then to the settings of your camera, and there you will find an option called grid, or in Dutch, raster, and then activate it, and then you will see the lines coming into screen. Keep your horizon on either 1/3 or 2/3, and the eyes, when making a medium shot like this, on 1/3 of the screen.
Yes, so those are the first 3 tips. First of all, hold your phone correctly, avoid walking with your phone, use the grid on your phone, and make sure your lens is clean. Because even it's like really small, you still can see like stings or greasy.
If there's a little fingerprint on it, then and if the sunlight or any light comes into your phone, then you will immediately see this greasy filter.
So wash your hands, but also don't wash, but clean the lens of your phone. Okay, another one is that you can use your furniture or like books as like a tripod, right? So for example, maybe this is not really the handiest thing to use. But
I think the box will fall over.
Yeah.
But make use of little objects that you have to make a little a tripod kind of thing for your phone. Or if you were smart enough to go to the Action, we're not sponsored
keep your
by
distance.
Action.
Keep your distance at the Action, because it's kind of really crowded.
It's very crowded at the Action. But the Action has these little tripod stands for your phone in which you can click it and then put it somewhere. And
Or maybe you even have like a selfie stick.
Oh yeah, maybe
you can also use that as well. Okay. Then we have another one, that's the microphone of your camera. If you want to record like audio, for example, if you want to say something, make sure that your phone is close enough so the audio is clearly audible.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because phones are made to record sounds from like not a far distance. So make sure your phone is close enough to your face that it's like recorded.
Yeah, so that the sound quality is optimal. We always say, if you have the option, dive into your clothing cabin.
Or use like a blanket over your head as well. So if you want to record a voiceover, you can better or sit in your closet.
Oh yeah, the closet, yeah.
Or you can have like a blanket all over you that will block all the
the
outside noises.
Yeah, and it's so that you have as less reverb as you can have, because it's not good for the sound quality. So that's why we say put the blanket over your head.
Yes. The last tip is when you're done with filming, make sure you don't send all the footage via WhatsApp or some other like messaging, because then the quality of your footage will go down. So it's always best or to airdrop if you have an Apple phone to your MacBook, or send it via email, or you can use WeTransfer, for example. This is really important. So when you're done with filming, make sure you send the full quality footage to your computer, and don't send it via WhatsApp, because that will compromise the files.
There are some questions coming in the chat already. So Chloe Strunk says, can you also use an Osmo Pocket?
Yes, of course, right?
Yeah, of course you can. Osmo
Yeah.
Pocket is like a stabilizer for
Yeah.
your phone, right?
Now, an Osmo Pocket is, for example, also like a camera
Or a little camera.
with a stabilizer built in.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, so that if you have that, please use this. It's always better than using, always better, but it's...
Yeah, we do have very good phones, but yeah,
the Osmo
of
Pocket
course.
is a great option to film.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then Dutchy Drum says, Danny, check your mail. Well, I'm going into my mail, and the only mail I see is, okay, let me refresh that. And it says, I think it's Dan from Laurens Lagerwij.
What
and
did he
says,
say?
do you maybe have some examples of movies that that got a high
Score?
grade? Yeah.
For seminar or for tools?
I think then, well, maybe both.
I think most of the PowerPoints we use for media seminar includes videos of people that had a high score, because we're not going to show bad videos of students, right? So if you check the PowerPoints from seminar 1 to seminar 4, especially in the last seminar, we showed some examples of good videos. And yeah, and otherwise we will also, maybe you can send him an email back with names you still remember that were
Yeah,
good
we
videos.
will. I will answer that mail for you. And Monica Burgmeijer says, sorry, what did you say after email? I think that's what we...
Don't send your videos via WhatsApp, maybe?
Don't send your videos
Your
via,
footage?
through WhatsApp. Oh, you mean when filming with an with a phone?
Yeah, when you're done with filming.
Yeah, when you're done with filming with your phone, don't send your the videos that you recorded using WeTransfer or WhatsApp or email to your laptop, because the apps will downgrade the quality.
Yeah.
So it's not, well, good for editing anymore. So the best way to do it is just using AirDrop on your iPhones, or using the USB cable and then connect it to your computer and then copy the files over.
Because then you are sure that you have the full quality you need for your film, for your pitch video.
I hope that answers your question.
Do we have more questions?
Yeah, more are coming in. Clarina van der Beurden. Do you have any tips for creating the video indoors? Any creative ideas? I don't really know how to create a storyline.
So we already did like the boring room challenge.
Yeah, the boring room challenge is a very good one, because he literally makes use of a boring room. So that's, well,
Like
as boring as it can be.
Yeah, as normal rooms. Yeah, and also make sure. Of course, in total, maybe a room is boring, but maybe have some interesting details where you can, build a story on, or maybe you have old things, you have memories from the past, or maybe
pictures or objects that you can use.
Yeah.
And they also make up for the signs. How do you call them?
The semiotics.
The semiotics that you have to use in your movie.
Yeah. Or maybe be creative with clothes, or maybe you can cook something, and maybe different kind of ingredients reflect on your personality.
Think about the objects, the things that make you what you are, and then use them. And they are lying all over the place in your own room. We are sure.
Yeah, I think so. You just have to make that switch in your mind and be creative. And also maybe you can search on YouTube for boring room challenge and yeah,
And
just do some research.
make use of light. It's you saw that in the boring room challenge as well. He is literally putting lights on well on the objects, on the things that you're going to film, because the light will give you an atmosphere that is very different from the standard light that is coming into your room. That and maybe using light and shadows. And, playing with the light.
More questions about filming, or can
Yeah,
we
quite a
continue?
lot.
Okay.
Is there anywhere we can check what we need to have in the video, like an assessment form? Because I can't find it.
Of course, we have an assessment form on Blackboard, tools, and then you can find in the student guide an assessment form.
Yeah, it's in the student guide.
And also, your video is going to be graded for the project as well. Go to your media seminar, go to Blackboard Theory, Media, and you'll find the assessment form as well. The assessment form for the story-wise can also be found in a project manual. So of course we have different kind of assessment forms. So check out Blackboard Tools or check out Blackboard Theory or Project, and you'll find your assessment form.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Next one.
It's a little bit too direct.
Megan van der Vecht. How can I get my photos to fit into the frame after using scale? And what can I do to prevent Premiere from lagging after using ingest setting and new proxies? Okay, that's a very technical question.
Yeah, we can show that later in Premiere Pro, but to be sure, make sure that you film in 1920 by 1080, because then you have the right resolution, and then you probably don't have that problem in Premiere Pro. Right? Oh, it's about photos.
Yeah, well, photos to fit in the frame is also, you can, if you put a photo on the timeline, it will show up like a little, video clip kind of thing. It's looking like a video clip, and you can right-click on that clip, and it will show a menu, and the menu says scale to frame size, and then it will, scale down to the frame. The full HD frame. So that's the first thing you should try. Yeah. And then after that you can make use of. But we will show you in a moment the controls, the effect controls, in which you can use scale to make it bigger or smaller. Okay, a couple of more, and then a couple of questions. I want to edit my video, but my Premiere is constantly
crashing?
Well,
lagging?
Not really. Lagging. I cannot play the preview file in a normal way. Any tips on that? Well, first you can lower the resolution of the video preview files in the right screen where you see your preview. There's a little setting, and maybe it says full. And you can click on it, and it will show you a drop-down menu, and you can change that into a quarter or a half. And try one of those settings.
Yeah, and if that doesn't work, maybe it's also a good thing to update your graphic cards. Because on Mac it's automatically most of the time updated, but on Windows you have to update your graphic card once in a while. And then Premiere Pro will work much better. If you don't know how to do that, go to Google. Type in how to update my graphic card, and you have like a 1 step to 10, and then you'll find out how to do that.
And the last step which might work is try to pre-render
your footage.
The footage. So what you do is you click once on your timeline, you go to what's the menu? I think it's called. Okay, let me open up a file. Then I know what to do. Click on your timeline, then click on the menu sequence. Sorry?
I don't know.
Okay, we have a director over here. Click on the menu sequence, and then click on render into out, and then it will make the yellow line, the yellow or red line that you see above it, it makes it green, and then you can play your video preview files in.
We can also show it later when we are in Premiere Pro
Yeah,
as
yeah,
well.
we will come back on this.
More questions?
Someone says, "Oh, this is crazy. This is just at school." Yeah, well,
Yes.
we were allowed to go in here and make use of our media lab to do this for you guys.
Yeah.
Carmen, are there any good filming apps for iPhone with settings besides the standard? Well,
Filming apps. I don't even. I think for editing, yes, maybe, but
well,
our
we have,
director.
yeah, the
says
director has maybe has a tip.
It's called Camera Plus.
Camera
Camera
Plus.
Plus.
Is it
Camera
a paid
Plus.
app?
It is paid.
It is
but
paid.
I think it's like $3 a year.
$3.
Oh, it's $3.
That's
so
a
it's
bargain.
kind of cheap. Yeah. So you can check that out. What was it again? Camera.
Camera Plus.
Camera Plus. Hopefully, we're like influencing now, right? So.
Paid.
Yeah. Okay. Is there another question, or can we continue?
There are a lot of questions.
Oh.
Can I, Sanne asks, can I use some pictures to use it as a flashback? Yes, of course you can.
Yeah.
Just make sure that you don't make, is it called a dia show as well in English?
Yeah, like a projector,
Yeah,
PowerPoint.
Yeah, it must not look like a PowerPoint, but you can perfectly scatter some pictures on your table and
Yeah.
then use your camera to go over them to make it look like an.
Yeah, and if you want
timeline.
to use them like digitally, then like we did with the tools for dummies, you use like keyframes to move it. So maybe you can do that in Premiere Pro as well with your photos. So you can move it really smooth, like zoom in a little bit or move it a little bit to the left or to the right. So you can play it a little bit so that it's not like an, how do you say, like it's not moving, like it's a still image. That's kind of boring. So yeah.
Okay, I have a camera, a Canon EOS D500. Is that okay? And if so, what are the settings when you are using a camera?
That's good, like the...
Aniek ter Haar. Yeah, the EOS 500D is
like
a
the
camera
previous version
that...
of the 800D.
Well, it's an older model, the 500D.
Yeah, but
and
still,
I think
it can still film in HD, right? Yeah. Yeah.
yes, it can, but it will do it most of the time automatically because the settings for filming came with the 600D. So it might be that that you will just get well, footage that was filmed completely automatically, so you cannot change any settings before starting filming. So you would just have to try out and see what the image will look like. And we have a couple of tips to
yeah, and
to improve the quality.
Yeah, and if you can change the settings, then one thing I would recommend, if you film with 25 frames per second, then the rule is that your shutter speed should be the double of it, right? So you film with a shutter of 50.
Yeah.
If you can adjust settings.
Yeah,
the
but
settings.
I think because I had the 500D myself, and you couldn't change those things. But then again, the quality is okay.
Yeah.
The quality is really good.
Okay.
Is there anything left? Yeah, is it possible to change the focus when filming with your phone? Monica Burgmeijer.
It depends on what kind of phone you have, I think.
And maybe which app you are using.
Yeah. And you can also tap on the screen. So first, for example, if I focus with my phone on Danny, I can tap on the screen on Danny. And if I want to focus on the background, you can tap again and up the background. But make sure you filming stable, because when you do like this, then you will see that in the footage as well.
Mm-hmm.
So I think with most of the phones, it's kind of possible. When you have an older model, you have to check if you can tap on the screen to focus.
So it is, yeah, it's possible. It's possible. Maaike Pasman, do you only need to hand in the final video or also a storyboard and those kinds of things?
It's kind of handy to have a storyboard, but it's not mandatory. So eventually you only hand in the final video. Yeah.
Okay. Is it possible to change the exposure a bit in Premiere? Yes, you can, and we will show you in a while.
Yeah.
Marit asks, do you recommend only 1 or 2 or more background music tracks?
It depends on what kind of video you have. For example, if you want to build up tension, then you can switch songs. I think for your plot points, it makes more sense if you use more background musics, because then the story changes. So also the vibe of the video and the music maybe a bit. But it depends on what kind of video you have and what kind of story you have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, when there's more action on screen, so when the pace is getting
Yeah.
higher. I can't speak English anymore.
You have to get used to
When
it.
you have a faster pacing in your videos, then you also need to use more up-tempo music. So yeah, use music that fits the atmosphere of the scene that you're in.
Yeah.
And last thing for now, before we can go to the next
To Premiere Pro.
topic, I saw something. Oh yeah, Euphoria. Are settings even relevant? I use a GoPro. I used a GoPro. Well, GoPro is also a camera that films completely automatically. So no, you cannot change the settings of it. Well, not that much as with a real camera. So you would have to do with
Only
the
the
footage that you
quality,
have.
right? Only the quality in GoPros is really important.
Yeah, but not things like shutter speed
No, you can
or
adjust that. No.
exposure.
Yeah.
Okay,
So, yeah.
and the last things, Marit, and how do you, well, the transition between the music, how can you get that right? Well, it's that's one of the most difficult things, because you would have to know the beat of the two tracks and then try to fit the two together. But we can show you how to transition, make a transition between two audio tracks.
Yeah, there are some effects in Premiere Pro that can blend in two tracks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jurgen says, love your vids, big fan.
Oh,
Thank you. Jurgen Kerkman. And Maaike Pasman has one question. I filmed with a 5D Mark III, but I don't have... That's a very expensive camera. I didn't use any special settings, but I did change the lighting. Is that...
Like the exposure, or?
Yeah, the exposure. Oh yeah, the exposure. I did change the exposure. Is that a problem? Well, I don't.
If
I
it's
don't know.
if the footage is looking good,
Yeah,
then
then it's no problem.
Yeah. Okay. Should we start looking at Premiere Pro, or are there more questions?
Okay, one last thing, and then we're
Okay.
going to show you Premiere Pro. Wang Fan Vu, I hope I said that right. He or she says, oh, it's not really about tools, but do we really need to follow the arc of suspense? All my ideas are kind of flat. That's sad.
Well, yeah. You have to take a look at the assessment form as well. So if you want to have full points, then of course you have to have some kind of tension in there, but you can also build up tension in the edits, for example, with quick shots, with like a faster pace than the other music.
Yeah. So we do ask you to have some kind of arc, of course. So a 10 things about me video is a video
Total
without
flats.
any arc. So that's when we say, I'm Danny, I like playing video games, I like winning Oscars, I like drinking
Unicorn.
unicorn drink. There's no arc in that, but if you start by using a little introduction and then after that going into a second, the second part, and you work out you're going to work out the question that you ask in the first act, then you're going to have this little arc that you can use. So it's a little different. So you would have to go in depth in that second part then.
And if you're not really sure, then please test it with your friends and family or people that are close to you you can still see or hang out with. And then you can say, okay, this is my video. What do you think are my 2 plot points? And can you draw the tension curve for me? So then you already find out, because when you look at your video for 2 days and you don't know it anymore, the best thing to do is to test it to other people. Yeah.
Okay,
So good luck.
there are some more questions, but what we are going to do now is first dive into Premiere Pro. We will show you a couple of things, and then we will discuss any extra questions that are coming in.
Yeah.
So don't hesitate to make use of the chat.
Yes.
Yeah, let's go.
So we switch?
Yes, let's switch places.
Okay. So first of all, I want to. Oh, this is the live stream. I'm going to put this off. So we're going to talk about J-cuts and L-cuts, and in the lectures of Dick and Nika, you already found out what they are. So we use them in the edit for HUD to have like a smoother transition between two scenes. And I want to show you an example of J-cut from Narcos, and hopefully you can hear it kind of correctly.
Plata o plomo. Ustedes eligen. Venos. Listo, pues.
Sí, vamos a dejar pasarlos. Los camiones. Déjenlo pasar.
So you can already see that the music of the background, the music of the next scene is already under Pablo Escobar's face, and this is to introduce the other scene. So if you now take a look in Premiere Pro, let's start a new project. Yes, new project. This is alright, like test. So most of the time you have 4 different panels, right? You already know this from the Shooting Star video. So I'm going to import some footage we already shot today. Let's go to desktop, live, no, tools for dummies, live. Yes, import. So I'm just going to put some footage in there, like real quick. As an introduction. This is Danny and me before filming.
Yeah, and we are standing too close to each other.
Yeah.
We already saw that.
And we have some flags in here as well. And also want to have some background music. That's this one. So I'm going to import a little bit of this music in here. So you can also make a J-cut or an L-cut with your background music, right? So how are you doing that? These are the videos. Can you help me a bit, Danny?
What would you like to do?
How you can make an L-cut or a J-cut?
Well, if you would like to make a little J-cut, well, first you would have to have a scene in which the music is not present, and then you can build it up from the end of a scene into the next shot.
Not this one.
So maybe we can search for a little shot.
Where we have some audio.
Yeah, in which we are talking.
See that I've downloaded
So this is me.
I've
downloaded WordPress and now it's in my downloads. Okay.
Okay, you can use that.
I'm gonna cut the background music in here.
Okay, you're going to make an L cut. So first you have some introduction shots, like the first three, and music is running below it. And then we would have to go into the next scene in which Marloes is going to talk. So what we need to do is fade out the music so it will have a nice transition from the first three shots that we have made into the next scene in which Marloes is talking about the subject. So
Yep.
you can do that. I don't know in which way you would like to do that, by maybe adding.
You can do that like two ways. If you don't want to have any background music, you can go to Effects,
Yes.
and then you can go to Audio Transitions, and we have a crossfade.
Yeah.
And then you can use exponential fade to fade out the music. So if we drag this over your audio, you can already see that the effect is there. You can also make it longer or shorter. And now when we play it, see that I've downloaded WordPress and now it's in my. You can see that it fades out the music. You can even make it a little longer maybe.
Yeah, it could be nice to have a little,
I've downloaded WordPress and now it's in my.
or to make the fade out a little longer.
Yeah. I've downloaded WordPress and now it's in my downloads. Right. So the other way is to make the background music softer, like less loud.
Yeah, so you will still hear the background music while Marloes is talking, but then you can just make the volume a little lower, and then when Marloes is done talking, you can raise the volume of the music again. And you can do that like this.
Yeah, so you can see if you make your audio a bit like larger, you can do that like when you scroll over in this panel, you can make it bigger. And you can see there's like a white line in the middle of the audio. And it's the same as with the keyframes we've made with Shooting Star videos. You can also control the level of the audio with that. So you can control a keyframe if you hold Alt or Option. So I'm going to do that a little bit between those two clips. So Alt and then click, or a Command, sorry, it's Command or Control. And you can see when you click there's like a little keyframe. So then I'm going to go a little further and I'm going to create an extra keyframe. And now I can drag this little keyframe down, and then the volume goes down of the audio as well. So now you have this effect. I've downloaded WordPress and now it's in my downloads. I've downloaded WordPress and now it's in my downloads.
I hope you can still hear the music running while Marloes is talking.
I've downloaded WordPress and now it's in my downloads. And you can also like do the opposite again when you want to have some shots in between. So you can make an extra keyframe again by clicking on Command or Control on Mac. Then click in the white line. And then I'm going to make an extra keyframe as well. And then you can bring this keyframe up again. I've downloaded WordPress and now it's in my downloads. And then, for example, you can continue with some shots. For example, this camera. Oh, this is not a camera, it's a light. Maybe the Media Lab. So in the meantime, I'm going to check if there are some comments. Just going to check where I can find that.
Oh, I can see the chat.
You can see
over
the
here.
comments? Okay,
Yes.
so then you can read and I will show it on the screen. Or aren't there any?
No, I don't. Oh, I don't know. No, I don't see any new.
Downloaded
Any new
WordPress and now
questions?
to my downloads. So I call this an audio bridge, like the other way of like a bridge. But this is a really nice thing to use when you do want to have some background music, but you also want to add like the audio of the video you're using. I've downloaded WordPress and now to my downloads. Okay. Next thing we're going to show in Premiere is Danny.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Oh, okay. No, this is working. This is working. There is a little question
Okay.
coming in now.
Tell me.
Can you reverse a part of a video in Premiere?
Yes, you can. So it's really easy. Let's check if there's movement in this one. For example, in the flags, you click on your shot, right click. Then you can see speed duration. Then you have an option for reverse speed. If you click on that, select it, click on OK. Then you will see the flags are now in reverse speed. And even you can also do that maybe. You can also make like a cut, for example here. And then further on you can make a cut. And then you can only reverse this part. So speed, duration, reverse speed. Okay. So that's how you can reverse a clip.
Yeah, it's funny. I was a little bit confused because the live stream is always a bit behind on what we are doing here in the studio.
Yeah, of course,
so it could be that questions are coming in a little later than we expect them. Because if I can see the live stream here as well, and I can see that you're still busy there. Well, we are already done.
Yeah, okay. Okay,
So
next thing in Premiere Pro. So now we know how to reduce the sound of the volume of a background video.
Yeah. Yes.
What's the next thing we're going
Well,
to
next
do?
thing I can show you a couple of effects and transitions. And effects and transitions is already one of the things that we just did with the audio. But you also have effects for your video. And let me delete this. Oh yeah, this is a little trick. If you have two clips and you're editing and there's this little space between it, then you can easily delete that by clicking in this space and then just press backspace, or with your right button and then click on ripple delete. So that's how you can close the gap. And also here at the beginning, let me bring this back, ripple delete, and then your footage starts all the way at 0 again. Okay, a couple of effects. You can find the effects in two ways. One is, the first is down here on the left. And you click on effects and you see a couple of folders, and they all contain different kinds of effects, like presets for the coloring, audio effects and transitions, or some color correction options. You can also go to the top of your screen and then click on effects, and then they will show up to the right side. And one of the most used effects that comes in very handy is the Luma color effect. And Luma color is used to to color correct your footage, so you can make it a little brighter. There was a question about that. Can I adjust the exposure afterwards? Yes, you can. You can even change the white balance again. So let's try that for a bit. Search for Luma color, and then it will show up under Video Effects, Color Correction, Lumetri Color, and you can just drag it onto one of your video clips that you put in your timeline. The funny thing is, it doesn't show up over here now. You would have to go to, well, either color over here or into your effect controls. And there you can find back Lumetri Color that I just put on your video clip. There's the first thing is the basic correction, and you're going to use that the most. So you can click it open, and you will find several options. Always make sure that you first click on your on the clip that you would like to change, and then make the adjustments over here, and then you're good to go. Well, there's a little bluish tint over the footage that that is shot over here, so we could try to make it look a little bit warmer. And the first thing you can use for that is the white balance selector over here. So if you have footage that's really too blue or too orange, then you can click on this eyedropper tool and then go to a part of your screen that needs to be entirely white. And then if you click on it, then you can see that Premiere Pro will change the color temperature of it. So it made it a little bit warmer now. See? You can toggle the effect on or off by clicking on the effects. And then you can immediately see that this is a much cooler kind of picture, well, with a cooler temperature than it is over here. So it adjusted the color temperature a bit using the white balance selector. You can change the exposure. Important to know is that it's always better to film at the right exposure than to adjust it afterwards. And that is because if you shot some footage that was already overexposed and you don't see any detail in, for example, the clouds anymore, then you cannot repair that in Premiere Pro anymore. But if you shot some footage that was a little underexposed and that it was a little bit too dark, then it's quite easy to add a little exposure by dragging this slider over here and do it in little steps, because if you overdo it, then you can already see that your footage will immediately get overexposed again. Mm-hmm. Well, if I drag it to the right, then you can see the footage is getting overexposed. If you drag it to the left, then it will get a little bit too dark. But the exposure here was already okay. So
yep.
There's nothing and not too much to change over here. Well, contrast, you could try to improve the black levels a little bit. You can also do that by, because contrast has an effect on the entire picture, but you can also do it in little steps by using highlights, shadows, whites and blacks. If you're doing it with highlights, it will leave the shadows alone. And if you do it with shadows, it's the other way around. So you can see that the darker parts get affected a little bit more. That way you can try to get a more balanced picture.
Yeah, just one thing.
Yeah.
You can see Danny's now working in his effect controls, but maybe you find it easier, like all different kind of things in Premiere Pro can be done in 7 or 8 different ways.
Yes.
So you can control your color correction in the effect control panel, but you can also see on the right, you have sliders. So it does the same if you adjust the shadows or the whites or the blacks. And this will look like a Lightroom a bit. So maybe
it might be easier, yeah.
Yeah, but like the old school Premiere Pro always uses effect controls because previously there wasn't a panel like that. So you can choose.
Yeah. Since a couple of versions, it's on the top over here. Well, that's also a little change that you can do. You can always delete an effect again. So you can click on it, press delete, and then it's gone. That's well, to show this, how this works, if I would go back to color again, and I would make my adjustments over here immediately, so change the exposure a little bit, and the highlights and the shadows, and maybe a little, oh yeah, let me change the white balance again. Well, that's funny, because now the white balance doesn't work when I click on this, and
Yeah.
it did when I did it over here.
You can click on the screen.
Yeah, well, this doesn't work, and it did over here, so that's very funny. Basic correction. See, so now the eyedropper. So yeah, okay, but you would have to be lucky, I see. Okay. And but it will put when you make the adjustment over here, it will also put the effect in the effect control, so you can always find it there. And if you're not satisfied with what you've just done, select the effect and delete it, and then you're good to go.
Yes. So we have a question.
Okay.
If I record videos in 4K and edit it in pre-made 1980 by 1080 sequence, does the quality downgrade?
No, well, the quality stays the same. The only thing is that when you import it into Premiere Pro and you paste it onto a 1080p timeline, the footage will be too big, because it's 4 times the resolution of just full HD, and it will, what's that? What is overdrijven in English? Exaggerate?
Yeah.
To exaggerate
Exaggerate.
it will look like this. So you will only see the details of the chairs. And what you can do then is select your clip, and then click with 2 fingers, and then select scale to frame size, this option, and that will change back to, well, okay,
The
that's funny.
original where it's,
It doesn't work right now, but that's the way how you need to do it. Scale to frame size, and then it will change back. I think it doesn't work because this already has the full HD resolution, but it will then make it at, it resize it to your full HD picture over here. And well, the advantage of working with 4K footage and then putting it on a 1080 timeline is that you have the option to zoom in and reframe your footage. But also, because it is scaled down from a much higher resolution, you will always see the effect.
more details.
Yeah, it's much sharper, much more detailed.
Yeah. Another question from Euphoria. Usually when I delete a scene in between 2 other scenes, I can click on it empty space. It turns white, and then when I delete it, 2 other scenes are coming together and the spaces got deleted. But it's somehow not working anymore. So that's the thing you explained already. If you have 2 scenes in, like next to each other and you have some space in between.
Yeah, like this.
Just right click on it.
Then 2 fingers, and then choose ripple delete.
Ripple delete.
Or click between the space and then click on, or press your backspace button, and it will close the gap.
Sometimes this doesn't work when there is background audio in there.
Yeah.
So that can also be like the problem, because then it won't close because there's already a stream underneath that's already closed.
Oh yeah, so yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah.
Because then you cannot simply close the gap that way. And you also need to, because we made some adjustments to the sound over here, it won't take it with it. So you would first have to shorten your audio clip, maybe like this, and then you can close this gap by ripple deleting it. And then it will have, well, the audio change that you made will stay in the same place as your video, because otherwise it will shift spaces.
So some of you, with the color correction, you want to have like a black and white view, maybe from the past, right?
Oh, yeah, okay,
So
yeah.
maybe you can show that as well, how you can do that. to
Yeah,
give
well,
your-
there's a simple effect called black and white, I think. Or how did they? Or
tint.
yeah, what was it called? Because you can of course do it with lumetri color and then just turn down the saturation all the way to 0, because that will remove the colors as well. But I don't know if it's maybe some kind of a fake black and white, and that's why there was also.
Tint is called effect, right? Tint.
Really?
I
Is
think
it called
so.
tint?
Tint.
And then if you
You drag
use
it
tint,
over.
yeah, it changes the footage to black and white.
So if it's like, if you still want to enhance the colors, you can still put some extra black in it, some extra shadows, so that you really have that feeling of black and white.
Okay, that's great.
Yep.
So tint is the best option for that. Well, what makes it easy is that if you don't like the look, then you can just select the effect tint, then delete it again, and your footage turns back to normal.
Yeah, just like another option that I still remembered from the ripple delete. If you have some footage and you want to shift everything to the left, for example, like this, and you have some audio as well, and the ripple delete's not working, you have a shortcut on your keyboard for A. I'm not sure what this one is called.
Yeah.
It's a track select forward tool.
Yeah, that's it.
So if you click on A on your keyboard, you will see that there are 2 arrows, and everything that's after the arrows will be selected.
Yeah,
So
that's
you,
also great.
so you can just click once, and then you can just drag it to the other one, to the other that is closed again. So it will select everything and also the audio. So that's also an option to put everything together again.
Yeah, that's great.
So A on your keyboard, or you can, it's under the arrow, it's under the selection tool, the track select forward tool. in this
Well,
panel.
maybe you can even show the razor tool as well, now that we are working with that toolbar.
So in your tools bar, I always use the shortcuts, but of course you can also just click on them. So first you have the selection tool. With the selection tool, you can just click on select your
And that's
clips.
the V.
Yeah, V on your keyboard.
Yes.
So shortcut V on your keyboard. Then we have the track select forward tool. That's A on your keyboard. So with A, you can select clips and footage and then drag everything to the front. Then we have the razor tool, and the razor tool is really handy because you can actually cut footage. So if you click on the razor tool and you can zoom in with plus and minus, you can actually make like little cuts in your footage. Then if you click on V on your keyboard again, you can go to the selection tool, and then you can remove parts again. So that's really handy with the razor blades. And if you want to, if you, for example, made a cut and you think, oh shit, I don't want to cut there, then just click on Command Z or Control Z. Okay. Are there already more questions, or can we continue with the other things?
No.
Not yet.
One farm says, oh, okay, thank you, because just in case I need to stabilize the videos. Yeah, okay. No new questions. So
Okay.
we can go to the next topic.
So we did some color correction. We showed you how you can use those keyframes, audio keyframes.
Maybe the video transitions, like the dip to black and
Maybe a slide. Yeah, some like there are some free video transitions in Premiere Pro, but they're kind of old school.
yeah.
So
Well, the dip to black always.
the dip to black always works.
Yeah, because a lot of movies make use of it. If you use the other transition, I always forget the name.
So you can go to video transitions if you want to check it out, and it's in your effect panel. So you have different kind of options: dissolve, page
Oh yeah,
fill.
the cross dissolve. That's what I was searching for.
Yeah, yeah.
Don't overuse cross dissolves because it might.
I will show you how it works.
Yeah, it might look nice at first, but it's becoming quite corny in a
Yeah.
while.
So you place those transitions in between two scenes, and then you can see what the. Yeah. So this will crossfade two scenes into each other.
And sometimes it works. There are movies in which they have really nice crossfades, but it also has to do something with the composition that the two scenes have between them.
Yeah.
So you can perfectly crossfade a shot with a very nice composition into the other one if they match each other. But if it's two completely different shots, then I would just recommend the normal hard cut, as it is called, without any cross dissolve.
Yeah, so I will show you the dip to black. Normally you can use the dip to black at the end of the video or at the beginning of the video. Now let's put it on the back. So you can also find it in your video transitions, and then you have dissolve. And then you can see that you have dip to black and you have dip to white. So you can just drag it onto the last part of the scene. And you can also make the duration longer or shorter. And you can see it will dip to black now. So you can also do it at the beginning of your video. Dip to black. I've downloaded WordPress and now it's in my downloads. And the dip to black at the end of the video. Maybe there are some other transitions you can try out. For example, don't do page peel. This is like only if you do it on purpose, because this is like the really old school thing ever. You literally have like a page peel. So maybe like slide or zoom can be nice. A zoom is like a really cross zoom. But I would advise to make it shorter, because now it's kind of slow. So it works best if you make the effect a little shorter. And it's also nice on the music. Even I didn't time it, but downloads. So it can be good if you have also, if it's like on the beat of the background music. Another one is, for example, slide or wipe. Yeah, we can try out wipe. So place wipe in between two scenes. So this one's also too slow for me. Make it shorter. So I would advise, if it's your kind of style you want to show in the video, that you only use one kind of transition in there. So dip to black, you can always do it at the beginning or at the end. But for example, if you do like a page peel and a wipe and what do I have here? Like a zoom, it's too much. So if you want to use those effects, only choose one. And then you can have some kind of cool style in there as well. I've downloaded WordPress and now notes. So that is for the transitions for videos. So the good ones are wipe, zoom, and dip to black, of course. You can try out the other ones, but yeah, most of the time they're not really, really good. Okay. Danny.
Okay, next topic. Well, we can choose between noise reduction in audio or adding titles, like you.
Yeah, we can first do some audio noise reduction.
Yeah, because it is very well possible that you've recorded some audio and that you have, well, that the volume wasn't loud enough, so you will end up with some noise. And there's a quick way to fix that if you have already installed Audition on your computer as well. This is a little clip from Dirty Dancing, and it has the noise in the audio, and you can hear it when I'm playing this. Oh yeah, the video is also too small, so if you remember, you can right-click, choose Scale to Frame Size, and it will blow up the image until it fits the screen. Here you...
Best movie ever.
Yeah, this is one of Malus's favorite movies ever. But you can clearly hear a lot of noise in the background. That's not good, of course. If you hear this with your audio, you can try to fix that. Make sure you have the same version of Audition on your computer as the version of Premiere. So if it's CC 2020, then make sure that both of the apps are of CC 2020. Then right-click on the clip and choose Edit Clip in Adobe Audition. And it will start up Audition and load the clip into a timeline over there. So let's wait for it to start. There it is. Okay, would like to access. And then it Audition Learn. Let's close this down. And then you will see the audio over here. Well, there's a lot of talking in here, but you would have to find a part in the audio where there's no talking, but you do hear the noise. This is, I think we can use this part, so you can zoom in a little bit, and then select the part in which you hear the noise. Then go to Effects and choose Noise Reduction Restoration. Then you choose the first option, Capture Noise Print. And then it will say the current audio selection will be captured. You click OK. And it made a noise print. You don't see it, but it clearly did. What you do next is select the entire audio clip. So you can press Command A. And then you go back to Effects. And then Noise Reduction again. And then you click on the second option, Noise Reduction Process. And then you can see that it will use a noise print, the currently set noise print that we just captured. And if you then click on Apply, it will render for a bit. And then you can see that it deleted all of the noise because it's now completely quiet over there. And then if you play this part of the audio, well, I don't know if this went really well because it sounded a little bit...
Yeah,
Okay,
it's better.
it's okay, but it's...
It's a little bit under the water.
Yeah, it sounds a little bit underwater. But that's because in this clip, this was already out of a movie, and then it will get this robotic kind of effect over it. But if you made a new recording and you would just have some noise, then... well, trust us, this will work wonderfully.
Yeah.
The only thing you need to do now is, I don't know, no, you don't have to save this, right? Or, yes, you do. You press Command or Control S, and then you can go back to Premiere Pro, and then you can see that it will change the audio, and you hear the new audio, including the noise reduction.
That's really nice about Adobe because all the Adobe programs work together.
Yeah.
Just another thing, because we also had an email from someone and there was also a question how to do, where is it? How to get a smooth transition between two background music.
Oh yeah.
So we can also do that with audio effects. So let's remove the Dirty Dancing. And I'm going to add another background music. Let's check if I have some in here. Probably have some music in here. What is this? No. Tools for Dummies, Tools for Dummies. Bongo Madness. Okay, let's put this in.
Yeah, sounds great.
If it's working. My Mac has sometimes the problem that I can't drag things in there. And of
And
course...
it starts playing the song over and over again.
Oh. Come on, you can do it. No. Yeah, Maurice told me that he had the same problem because this is really weird. Boo.
That's why I always use the old-fashioned Command plus I on my keyboard to import a file.
Yeah, but then I can find it. Okay, it's working.
Ah, there it is.
Okay, so now we have the background music. It's really... Okay, so then we're going to make this a little shorter. And then drag in the audio in here. So now you have two different clips. Maybe I can even make this a little shorter. Okay, so we're going to go to effects again, and then you have audio effects. Audio transitions, sorry, not audio effects. Crossfade, and you can choose between constant gain, constant power, and exponential fade. So if you put constant gain between two clips, most of the time it will blend those two together a bit. So let's make this a little larger. So you can already hear that you have a better transition between those clips. And constant power is mostly used to have some kind of balance for the first audio clip, right? So that it doesn't pop in really loud.
Yeah, if there's a difference in volume level between two clips and you would put the two behind each other, then you can sometimes hear this pop in or a click in the sound. And yeah, to remove those, you can make use of the constant power transition.
Yes, so that's for the audio transitions. What's left? Is there another question again? Or?
Well, something on the audio copyright. Color correction I already did. Audio copyright is left, and exporting your video.
And making a title, right?
Oh yeah, making a title. You could also show the title maker. Oh, we still have a couple of other... Can we only use non-copyrighted music? Well, because we upload the videos on...
video.hanse.nl.
Yeah, video.hanse.nl. We are restricted to using non-copyrighted music. That is because Hanse doesn't have any... well, any how do we say that?
I'm sorry?
And,
I was a little bit confused because the director's hand is now on my laptop.
Oh.
But yeah.
Hanse doesn't have any overeenkomst,
Agreements
agreement,
with,
a contract
Buma
with
Stemra.
with Buma Stemra, who pays the
The rights for the music. You can,
yeah. Yeah, for use on video.hanse.nl, you use non-copyrighted music. For YouTube, it's a different story, because if you would publish your video on YouTube, you could make use of the YouTube audio.
Library.
Yeah, audio library, the audio.
Oh, audio rights.
Audio, yeah, they have something like that, and then in that list you can see the artists and the tracks that you are free to use for your own personal videos.
Yeah. So how can you find out if something is with copyright or without copyright? I think you can better, if you really want to use a free like stock music without any copyrights, just go to the audio library from YouTube, and you have different like thousands different kind of songs you can use. Even the songs I used in Premiere Pro now are copyright free, and you can select the vibe of the music. You can select even instruments. You can select if you want funky music, if you want happy music. So we as filmmakers always use, most of the time we use or audio library, YouTube audio library, or we even buy a song like for $20 you can use in your video.
But it's the, I already know how it's called. It's the YouTube music policies.
Oh, yeah.
If you Google for YouTube music policies, then you will end up on this part of the YouTube website in which you can search for music. Then you just type in the audio track and the artist, and then you can see which track and or which artist are allowing you to use their music in your video.
Yeah. But for now, it's best to use non-copyrighted music for your video.
Yeah.
So maybe you can think, oh, this is boring, but there's a lot of funny kind of music, and you can also, if you go on YouTube and you can search for non-copyrighted music, there's a ton of playlists with makers that offer their music for free. So it's not a big problem.
There are.
Okay.
Would you like to show the...
How to make a title?
Yeah, that's a thing that can come in handy. And then it's already almost the end of this show.
So if you want to make a title...
You have to switch manually.
Oh, I have to switch manually.
Keyboard doesn't work anymore.
A little technical thingy.
How can do? Oh, I have to scroll here. Here?
Yeah.
This one?
Yeah.
Oh, there's our friendly leader. Okay, now you can see my screen, hopefully. But I lost my mouse.
All the way to the left. It's all the way to the left.
Yeah, I have it back again. Okay. So you can choose to add a title for your video, for example, at the beginning, maybe. So I'm going to move all my shots a little bit more to the right. If you want to use a title, you can see there's like a T for type in your left panel. So let's use this, and you can just drag a frame in your program mode. And then you have the option to type, so pitch video. And now if you go over to your effect controls, you can see you have an option for vector motion, and you can see text, pitch video. So if you click on the drop down menu, you can see that you can select your text and you can change the font. Let's check what kind of beautiful fonts I have. For example, this one. You can align it to the center. You can make it maybe a bit bigger. You can add a shadow if you want to. For example, a black shadow, like this. Okay, so this is for the text, but now it's not moving yet. So you can always recognize a graphic or a title when it's like a purple rectangle on your second video stream. So what you can do, you can also move it a little bit up to the middle. So now you can see you have a title, but it's not moving yet. So how can you move it? You can do this it's the same way as you did with your shooting star video. So let's make some keyframes. So make sure you select your pitch video graphic. Then you go back to motion again. So we're going to activate the clock. We're going to click on toggle animation. So this is the end position when it comes into the frame. So you can see I've made a keyframe here. Then I go a little back to the beginning. And then I'm going to scroll because I want to have it appear from the bottom of the clip. So I'm going to scroll the second number down. And now you can see it makes 2 keyframes. And when I play it, you can see that it's moving. So if you want to have a slower transition, you can move those keyframes a little further from each other. You can also add some smoothness. If you select the keyframes, right-click, temporarily interpolation, and then you can click on Easy In. And afterwards, when you want to remove it again, you can make a keyframe again. So I've made a keyframe by clicking on the little circle here. Then you go a little further in time, and then you can scroll the second number up again, or down, whatever you like. And that's how you can make a title.
It's beautiful.
It's beautiful, my pitch video. So there are some presets for titles in Premiere Pro as well. Because if you check the top panel, you can see learning, assembly, editing, color, effects, audio, and graphics. So if you click on graphics, you will see an extra screen up here. And you have different kind of options. So you can have like a lower third.
Ooh, a testing screen.
Yeah. You have presets for how do you call this in English? Like credits, yeah.
Yeah, film credits.
And what do you have more? For example, this kind of title thingy. So if you want to use this presets, you can just click and you can drag it on top of your footage. And then if you click on it, you can already see if you are in graphic mode that you can change the text and the shape and duration. So you can just double click in there and you can just click on high, for example. Let's just put this one here. It's really little right now.
Yeah, it's very, very small.
High. So in those presets, you already have like moving transitions in there. So if you're lazy, you don't have any time, it's an hour before the deadline, you can use those presets.
They still look great.
Yeah, they still look great, yeah. But it's always nice to have like a personal touch and make your own titles. Okay.
Okay, well, let's go to the very, very final topic, exporting your video. Because it's very funny, but sometimes we receive an entire Premiere Pro project in our mailbox.
Yeah,
and,
that's not the...
yeah, and they say...
Here is my video, good luck with it.
Have fun with it. It's also because you cannot upload a Premiere project to video.hanze.nl. It needs an MP4 video file. And that's why you need to first export your video. Of course, you have already done that when making your Shooting Stars video.
Yeah.
But to complete this story, go to File, Export, Media, and then in this screen you choose H264 at Format, and then behind the output name you can click on the blue name that you see there, and then choose the location to which you want to save your MP4 video file. Now it's going to desktop. Let me do this. Desktop live stream. Give it a name. Demo. Save it. Well, there's a couple of extra settings that you can make, like use maximum render quality. But for now, this is okay. Export video and audio. Oh, if you deactivate this, it will only export your audio. If you deactivate this, it will only export your video. But for your video, you need to have them on both. Then at the end, click on export, and it will render your video. And then if you go,
So this can take like a couple minutes, or maybe your computer is really fast. Depends on what kind of computer you have and graphic card.
let me go to desktop, and then to the live stream, and then here you will find your demo MP4 video file, including the video, including the title and the music that you added and everything else. And this is the file that you can perfectly upload to video.hanze.nl and share it, publish it in the channel of your class.
Yeah. Yeah, true.
And you will find, of course, the name of the channels in the mail that we sent you earlier.
Is there maybe one more thing that we can show how you can increase the volume of a clip easily? Because that's like the basics, but we maybe forget to show that.
Oh, the audio levels of a video clip. Yeah, of course, show them.
Or for example, for audio, what you can do it two ways. So you can see the white line in between this audio. You can just click and drag it, and you can already see it goes to -40, -25. So this is how you lower the volume of, for example, an audio clip. So now you can see that it's way lower.
I've downloaded.
Yeah, so the volume is now way lower. Of a clip of your video, you can right-click on it, and you can see audio gain. If you
And the trick is to keep an eye on the audio level meter you see on the right side of the screen.
Yeah.
Because in the audio, in the best way, it peaks at around -6 dB for a voice, and maybe for music as well. So you can
let's
see
first split the channels for a second, because then you can.
Downloads.
So you can see my voice is now
I've downloaded WordPress and now it's in my download.
around -12. So we can pump it a little bit up to -6, right?
yeah.
So right-click on the audio clip, audio gain, and then we can increase it with 3 decibel, 4.
Yeah, because the peak lies around
Downloaded WordPress and now it's in my
-10, so
downloads.
Yeah, now it's around -6, so that's okay.
Yeah.
So if you want to downgrade, decrease, of course, decrease the volume, you can click on audio gain, and then you can put a minus before the number, so -4 decibels.
WordPress and now it's in my downloads.
So this is how you can increase the volume of your voiceover, for example, or decrease the volume of your voiceover.
Downloaded WordPress and now it's in my download.
Yeah. So now back to us again. This one? Yeah. Okay, so now we're already streaming for what? 87.
1.5 meter.
Oh, sorry, 1.5 meter. Yeah, so hopefully we showed you a lot of tips and tricks in Premiere Pro. We answered some questions as well. Hopefully it was useful. The live stream didn't crash, so that's already a plus for us.
Oh, we had it this morning, so we couldn't finish one of our recordings, but yeah.
Yeah, so good luck with shooting your video and editing your video. If there are some more questions, you can always, of course, email your tools teacher.
Yeah, send us an email. We will come back at that. And well, if there's too many questions, we can always try to do a little extra video. It's no problem.
Yeah, it's not a problem.
The studio is there.
Yeah, the studio is already here, and probably for block 1.4, we're also going to create some kind of live stream session, so you can ask questions and join us with the next block. So, but for now, thank you for watching. Create a cool video.
Have fun doing that. And stay safe, stay healthy.
Stay safe and healthy, and hopefully we'll see you soon.
Yeah, soon, very soon.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks.
How can we stop this?
Stop the streaming.
Oh, yeah, here or in my screen?
No, in the YouTube screen.
Oh,
Safari.
oh,
Not a Safari.
End stream.